Welcome back from the commercial break. Last election cycle, Republican nominee for Florida's 9th Congressional District, Scotty Moore, and his staffer were denied participation in a debate. Just remember this. They were denied the chance to debate, to get their job interview for the office they were running for, because the Democratic nominee, Darren Soto, against Darren Soto, because the local news organization would not accept their vaccination status. Think about that. Well, that local Orlando news organization just got a big piece of bad news, about $10,000 worth, a fine for barring Moore and his staff from going to that debate. Here to give us his immediate reaction and tell us more about this story is a former congressional nominee, Scotty Moore. I've had him on many times before. Scotty, welcome back.
Love being back on. Thank you so much. God bless you guys, and really look forward to sharing about how we were wronged, but how, just like you guys, we're continuing in the fight for the American people, and we are going to win.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. I mean, it comes a little late, right? It would have been nice if this could have been done before the election, but Florida regulators determined that the TV stations refusal to allow you to enter the facility to do the debate actually violated the current state laws. $10,000 fine. Tell us what that feels like to you.
Well, I tell you what, like you said, a little bit too late. We were actually reminding them that this is a Florida state law. But you know what? This is similar to what others have been doing when you have an administrative state that's out of control. They do what they want, and they don't have to pay the consequences. And when they do, $10,000 for this company is very small when it costs me a strong opportunity to be able to get in front of the American people, my future constituents, I believe. And we ran a strong campaign. We only lost by 6%. And the question is what could that have debate changed the thoughts and minds of people? We'll never know. And they stole that from me, and they are being held accountable, but still, nevertheless, this is something they knew, and they should never have allowed it to happen in the first place.
Yeah, and Scotty, you highlighted something that's really important. I mean, $10,000 would crush just a regular everyday American, but for an organization like WESH, it's probably a drop in the bucket. But I think that what's most important here is the message that it sends. Do you think that it sent a strong message across media in Orlando, but across Florida and our country?
Well, I hope it does. I mean, what this letter from the Department of Health, Florida's Department of Health, says is that you cannot do it. You violated my rights as a Florida resident right here. We have a law on the book signed by Governor DeSantis in the legislature that was put in there, so it should have never happened. And so they're on notice that they can't allow it to happen. However, they knew that already. What they were trying to do is hide behind the fact that they say, hey, we're a New York corporation, so therefore we can't do that. That's wrong. They were trying to play politics. They got caught, but still, look at what it's doing. It catches all of us. What about the people who were forced to get fired and leave their jobs? Maybe they'll get restitution, but what about the failed marriages, the financial crush that it is for people? This is happening all across the United States of America. We need freedom back. We need to restore the people's voice. This is our country. And I got to tell you, these woke corporations are trying to destroy it, and we have got to fight back.
Yeah, and it's the synergy between the woke corporations, federal bureaucrats and state bureaucrats, and the Democrats that have created this unbelievable wave of cancellation. I wanted to think about this. A candidate was denied the chance to debate because of his vaccination status. Catholics who prefer the Latin Mass or parents who went to school board meetings are now deemed to be domestic terrorism threats by the FBI. News media that had a legitimate story couldn't get it out before the election because the FBI and social media conspired together. There is this massive machinery that's been assembled together. Our guest just before this talked about it. Scotty, you were trying to get into the halls of Congress. What do Republicans and common sense Democrats need to do to start to disassemble this massive cancel culture machine? It is massive in scope now. Nothing is off limits. Faith, health, truth, speech, all under assault at one time.
Absolutely. And we have a Republican-held House of Representatives. We're already seeing some steps taken. You saw Rep. Ana Paulina Luna fire back and hold Twitter and Twitter executives and what's happening. Truth is starting to come out, and we have still a long ways to go. We're going to talk about and investigate Hunter Biden. We're going to talk about the border. We're going to talk about what's happening with COVID, what happened. And so that is what I was hoping to be a part of it. I still look to potentially in the future doing something. We're exploring all options. But the bottom line is that this is our country. and we have to fight for our freedoms. This is something that from the beginning, the start of our country, we fought for our freedoms, and it must continue on. We will not allow a rogue, out of administrative state, out of control government take over our rights. The Constitution is the framework. We are going to hold true to it. We have freedom of religion, speech, petition, assemble. We are going to fight back, and we must fight back, or we risk losing our country. Everything is on the line.
Absolutely. Okay, Scotty, so you teased it. You said that there might be another run for you in the future, and I know that for our audience, having followed your campaign, they would love to know if you're going to have another go at it.
Well, I tell you what, we're exploring all opportunities, and I sure would love for you all to check out Scotty Moore for Congress, Scotty with a Y, and stay tuned. We're looking at the whole field. I will tell you this, that I believe strongly in fighting for the American public, for godly principles, for what is right. And we need people, more people, not less, doing that. And so we're going to stay tuned, and we'll look and see what's available, and we'll respond and stay in step with the Lord here.
Real quickly, I want to turn to an international issue because it affects everyone right now. We're all talking about the China balloon situation.
Yeah.
Joe Biden lets it go on for a week, doesn't shoot it down until the very end under public pressure. We got about a minute left. What do real everyday people in Florida think about what happened this last week?
Well, my question is I thought someone in the American public would have shot it down. Maybe we couldn't have reached it, but with all the firepower we have here, if it were over Florida, we would have taken care of it. I really support Representative Corey Mills, who's just to the north of me. He's on the Armed Services Committee. He's talking a lot about this.
He is.
We need strong leadership. We cannot allow China and other nations to do this. This is our sovereign territory. We must protect it. And by the way, it says a lot about Joe Biden and him not protecting our country and the American people. Makes you wonder what kind of foreign interest he's connected in with. Obviously, we know about that. Perhaps we'll do some investigations in that. But the bottom line is China has been coming for us. They are a clear and present threat to our nation. We must respond and be strong. I'm not saying we're talking war, but I'm saying we must not allow this to continue to happen. Yeah. We must be strong. I guarantee you, if President Trump were in office, this would not have allowed. And people talk about, oh, well, it happened. Well, guess what? Even the military didn't even know, which is a problem. Right. We need to know.
You got that right. We had a good conversation with Christopher Miller, the former defense secretary, on that. Scotty, it's always an honor to have you on. We're going to be watching closely. Folks, check out justthenews.com tonight. We will have a full story with the letter. You can read the letter. What an important development in Florida. A little fine, but a big amount of shame. We're going to be right back for our final thoughts of the day right after this commercial break.